Hello everyone. Welcome back to the tutorial about Angular Spotify, and a happy weekend. So today we will continue building the one we left last week, where we was finishing the album. I think. Yeah, I forgot. It's like weeks ago, and I didn't really touch the code since then. So just let me share screen quickly, and then we can all look at where we are last week. Okay, good. So you can see the screen. So last week we was working on the album detail, which is when you click, you select an album, for example, it starts to display the summary of the album, and all of that is basically just a share component. So that most of the time, last week we was just keep continuing viewing the data and how it's uh, connect with Spotify API and how it is storing in the state management. And so today we will just continue rendering the list of song for a specific album. And also the plan was to build this artist detail. So we will just spend maybe a few minutes, no, maybe more than a few minutes to just finishing the album, which is this Kyoto, for example. Yeah, you can see there's the album, and then just spend some time to finish it up, and then we will start the artist. Hopefully we can finish it on time, because in the past few session we was spending a lot of time on explaining how the data structure, how I organize it. So today maybe we just spend more time on coding side, and yeah, just let's get started. But before I forgetting, I just wanted to share about Angular Singapore. So just let me zoom it a bit. So it is a group that I started recently, and all of that initiative was um, representing Angular Singapore, let's say. So if you wanted to know more about Angular Singapore, just go to Twitter and then do Angular SG. You can find the link so that you can, if you have any question, you can get a meeting with me. So just look into the date here. You can just book a meeting, and then you will see there's a event on your calendar. So any question, any problem is welcome. You choose the topic, so feel free to do it. And there's an upcoming monthly event, which is happening in the next Tuesday, which is on the 4th of May. And I invited Jatong, which is the creator of ngDraw. So if you have been working with Angular for a while, you know ngDraw was a very good library for UI component, which is based on design system. So he will share a bit about the journey to build a library from the beginning to the advanced like ngDraw. So if you have some time, feel free to join us. You can find the link to ISVP on the Twitter as well. And yeah, I think that's all for the side information. So just let's get started. I haven't started since last week, so maybe let me just start locally first. Before I forget, I think there's a pull request from one I forgot the name, Nikos on GitHub, so that he he added the ability to install the Angular Spotify as the PWA. So you can see the look and feel was much more like desktop app when you install it. So there's an icon here that you can see. Check it out if you haven't seen it. So basically, there's will be the icon on the when you what is it? Should just open it. So when you go to Spotify, go again. There's will be the icon on top, and then if you haven't installed it, it will ask you to install the application, and then you will see it on the Chrome app. So how it look is gonna look like this one, which is very much more than desktop app, which is just running on the Chrome core, but you know There's no address bar, nothing. It's look more like a individual application. So check it out. And to enable it with Angular, I think it's very simple. Just look for Angular PWA if you wanted to try. And yeah, feel free. I'm not having a lot of experience with PWA, but I think it's going to be simple to just edit in and configure it. Okay, so we have Luan here. Thanks a lot for joining. Thanks for your support. And also we have Matteo. Hello, Matteo. I'm not sure how what time is it at your time, but thanks for joining today. So let me. Okay, so the server is running, so maybe just open the localhost. And pretty much it is running. Maybe just this is fine. So I go into the I think it is go to the end. Oh, is it? What? It doesn't look like the listed code that I have. Very interesting. Maybe I opened the wrong project now. Just give me a moment. So sorry for that. So it is Angular 45. I think I checked out. I take the listed change this morning. Maybe for some reason. Oh, maybe because the there's a caching, so we just need to refresh the cache. I think this is another problem we need to solve, so we just do it one more time. So sorry about that. I didn't expect it to happen, but yeah, it is happening anyway. So it's gonna take about a minute to run. No, it's not even a minute. Like 20 seconds to run it locally. Oh, we have Pankaj here as well. Hi, Pankaj. It's been a long time to see you. Today in Singapore, it's raining, so I think we will arrange sometime to go for a run very soon. And we will have hopefully Pankaj in Singapore, like Angular Singapore very soon, for his talk about dynamic component. Okay, I think we're all good now. Right. So for some reason, just now they just take the cache version from the browser. So you can see now we can see the album summary. And if you look into the data that we have from Spotify, look into album endpoint, I think. Just go into one. It will take actually inside the object that is living back from Spotify. We have almost everything. So we also has the list of track, and the list of track basically is like a pagination. It is pagined, so it's not like giving you all of the track inside the album. So for example, an album could have like whatever, like 100 track. So maybe just give us like by default 50, and then you have to do like implement your own pagination mechanism so that you can, when you do infinitive scrolling or you click a button, this will start to add more track, like when request from Spotify server. So because we had the track here, and it is a bit different from the playlist. So for playlist on the track, you don't have this item property. In the track, I think there's only the total, so you know how many track is inside the playlist. But in order to get the track for a playlist, you need to make another query to the server. So for the album, it's easier because it already has a list of track, like an initial list of track for us in the object, so we can just use it. So if we open the album.component.html, I think that is where we left off last week. So it is the media summary, which is to display that information. And we have the play button, which is that one. The play button now is not a very, how to say, it is not following the best practice, because I was injecting the data service into the play button. And I'll just, I think I inject, oh, no, I think the the playlist button is good now. I forgot, I was confusing with the other thing, but yeah. So in the place button, always I need to pass in, is it the current thing is playing? Because it could be an album, it could be a track, it could be a playlist. So this is reusing between different places. Like you see, in the playlist, it's gonna be the same button, and then when you click into the album, it is gonna use the same button. And there are only two states: either it is playing or is it pause. So if it is not currently playing, we just display a play button. And if it is playing, we just display the pause. So that when you click into it, it will just toggle the set of the play button. And I'll just expose the toggle plays method out, so that inside you can see if it is playing, I'll just call the store, and basically we just don't really care about it. That part is handling by the store. So now we need to add in we need to remove it firstly because it is the current placeholder, and we need to add in the list of track, which is similar to that. And inside the album now we don't have it anymore, we just don't have it. Yep. So the easiest way is just go back to the playlist component and take it from there. I mean, this the whole point of when you have a good structure for one thing, you can just keep reusing it. And by calling reusing, sometimes it's just meaning copy and paste. I think it's as simple as that. So the like we mentioned last week, so let's look into the UI. We need to understand the UI, what we are going to build. So that is a playlist. So there's a top, there's a few property. So there's a order number, and then come to the title, and then to the what is the album and who is added it in. But when you look into the one specific album, you don't really care about what is the album, because it is like the album view anymore. So like, you don't really need to care about it because it is inside the album view. So we just don't need the album column, which is that one. The added by is also not needed. So it is like added by the edit itself. You don't have the permission. So this two thing, let me just draw it using this demo pro, so you can just draw it on the screen. This two column, we don't need it anymore. And maybe the one we need is like this one, like how long a track is gonna take. And I think that's it. So there's gonna be an order number, and then there's gonna be a title, and the duration. And if you go into the album, let me go into the album quickly. Yeah, so it's almost the same. It just doesn't display the cover, the album cover. So because you see that there's a big cover here, so there's no need to put it. But because I am using the same component, so let's see. Maybe we need to pass an input and say, I don't need to show the cover. So the component we just hide it when the boolean is 4. So I think we clear on the UI. So just repeat it one more time. We need this first is the first column, and then the title is the second one, and the third one is that. Go back into, yeah. But the play here depends. Maybe I don't have this information from Spotify, so we can just focus on the first, the second, and then the last one, the number of plays of the track. If we don't have it, then we don't have it, so we will not display it for now. So we need to look into the data one more time. So let's take a look. How to bring it higher? Okay. How to bring it higher then? That is weird. Maybe it's now this is a maximum because it is too short. Okay. So let it look into the track and then into the item. I think you can see it clearly. So in the item, I have a few data. So there's a name, okay, which is good. We have the duration, which is the the last column that we need to display, and we have this track number. I think we can use it to display for the first column. So yeah, we have enough data. And as I mentioned, I think we don't have the information about the number of plays for the track. So we just skip it for now. It's not very important. Maybe Spotify, they don't want to expose this data because uh, people is gonna miss you of that. So let's go into the playlist. So what I did before was like I had this AS media header, and what is it? So it's wrap the thing inside the PB4. Oh, so it's media to header. Oh, so that two thing here. Okay, so I have the media table and then I have the media table row, and I have the header. I just don't remember the code too much, so I think I just wrap it inside the class. I see. And then in the row, I also do the same, but I need to just, okay, so on the row, when I hover into the row, I will show the different background, and you can see it. Go back to the playlist. Yeah, that's why I wrap it inside a component, so that instead of giving a class and you do div something, you just wrap in the component, and it is easy to do it in the future. I'm not sure if it's the best practice, so if you have any comments, just feel free to leave it. I haven't done Angular for some time, so so the header here is understandable, but let me look into that. What is that? So we have the border bottom. We have border style. Okay, I think we just set this border, and the content of the grid is actually gonna render in this ng component. So if you look into the U-sheet, you can see the AS media table. Yeah. So the row, the actual row is rendering inside the component, and this is gonna be put into this ng content. So let me do it side by side, maybe easier for you. Side by side. Okay. So you can see where we use it is like there's a AS media table header, and then in the media header we just put in this ng content. I mean, because it is just the first thing that I wanted to live in, I can just use it in the content. But you have multiple like slot. I think it is. You have a multiple slot like titles and everything. You can do like multiple ng content, and then you do the corresponding selector, like title, whatever. That's the idea. I forgot the syntax, but usually I just do one ng content, and it is the content projection that you can see it on the Angular. So that is how I did it for the media table header. And for the track, okay, so that is the track, and inside the track is probably I will wrap everything inside the row that you can see here. So if you open the media table rows, let me look for it. Okay, media table row. It just basically take everything and then all of that and put it into this ng container. But you have the behavior when you hover, and then you can see the background is changing and the cursor is updating. You can technically you don't need this component as well. You just need to define it as a class somewhere on globally, or you can use it. But that's how I do it for the media table row. And because that tool is very related inside a table module, so it is one of the first thing that I put it inside the same module. Because usually when you need a table, you will need a header, and then you will need a row technically to say. maybe you don't need the header sometimes, but yeah, I'll just group it in the same module. So I hope it is good enough, but if it's not, then just let me know. I also can change it. So, okay, I think we have a question here from Matthew. So tailwind doesn't need media query because you can apply all the responsive CSS to the component. Yes, I think, I mean, I'm not using the tailwind responsive a lot, but you can use it. I think I forgot the thing. Yeah, true. I think that's true. That is a true the true assessment to say. But tailwind to say for my Spotify application, it just doesn't really solve everything. Like you can just using tailwind for everything. That it's just for my use case, because sometimes you need to define the read template column with a custom value. So I've just use SAS for still some of my time. So I'm not relying like 100% on Tailwind. But Tailwind is very good when you need to, like using all of these util where you don't really have to extract it into the class. And you wanted to have a different behavior based on the responsive thing, you can do, yeah, I don't know, MD something or large, because the first thing you want is to do the mobile first. So that is going to be very optimized on mobile, and then you do like from smallest and into the largest. So yeah, Matthew, you're right. Yeah, you can 100% use the tailwind responsive thing. And we have Joe here. Thanks, bro, for joining. So you don't have to do baby sister, or are you like still holding your son and still joining the live stream? Thank you so much for joining, and we have Chimeng. Thanks, man. So let's continue. So the playtrack is like the separated component, because I think it was a bit complicated. Yeah, it sounds like it's quite complicated. So the URL, and then album route URL. Okay. Yes, there's a few things then. So let just where we left off. I think this is a playlist component. So we need this table header first, and then we will need the padding, like there's a component to put a padding surrounding it. So I'll just take it this two things first, and then this one we can just do it in just a minute. So let's open the album because component.html. So as you can see here, it start to growing quite big. So you can technically put the whole track, like album tracks, like the lead of track, into a separated component. But yeah, at the moment, I'll just put everything into the same file so that we can look into it easy. But the best practice is like when the component is start to be very long, I think if we put everything in, it's gonna be quite long, like the playlist. It was like 40 line of code, which is not that long though, but recommended to put like I have a chat with B-Man, and he told me it was like, if the component was like 15 lines or something, which is good, you read the code easy. But for now, okay, just for now, we just put everything into the same album component, and I'll just make the disclaimer. So hopefully you understand it. So just put it down. The reason when we put like separate the thing is like because we have the two. Okay, just let me fix this first. I think now you start to see the suffering when you have to work with vscode. I think is it what media table module, and it just doesn't, it just can't. It's for some reason it just cannot give me the suggestion. It's just so frustrated that. So that's how, and that's why the live stream is always taking longer, because all of that is missing. So I have to do all of the thing. So we need to look for what media table. Okay, yeah. So like when Joe showed me the web song where you can just import the module from, it can detect the error on the template, and then you can import the module from the template. It's like crazy. It's awesome. But I don't know. It's like when I switch to web song, all of the key like shortcut and everything, I just don't get used to. So that's why I have to switch back to VS Code. Okay, I think Joe is, and also that's Tuấn as well. Talking about web song and VS Code. Yeah, maybe I need to change it. I installed the key map for VS Code on web store, but I just didn't get used to it very quickly. So okay, so Matthew say it's deep import are hard to auto complete, but it is what I expecting from the editor to support me. Otherwise, the productivity is not going so low because I'm the one who write the code. But when I need to import something which is not I written, I will not know very well. So it will really drag the productivity a bit. Yeah, I mean, doing the import manually just doesn't really benefit you from anything. I would say. I think, okay, Matos respond for the tailwind thing. So now used to bootstrap import in my CSS. Okay. This is happened, Matthew. Don't worry. So I think we also need the SVG icon to put the clock. So now talk about SVG icon. Where is it coming from? I think it's coming from the something from image, then the icon module. Can we just type in? Okay. Hopefully, yeah, the arrow go away. So we don't need the album, and we don't need this edit. So probably we have three things. So the playlist track grid here is like at the moment, because it is two separated component and you still wanted to reuse the same grid. So the approach that I took was I add this class into a global CSS, which is, I think it's not the idea, but okay, Joe will have something to say about it, I think. So I just put it into the component, and this component is basically a tailwind global CSS, and then it will available everywhere. But I think it's not the great idea to put it there. Maybe somehow, I don't know. Okay, so that is how I share it at the moment. But still, for me, I'm not really a fan of it. Maybe we have a better way to do it. And yeah, because I'm very open for change. So if you have any suggestion, let me know. So for now, we just keep adding one more, which is the album track. You can see the two thing here is very similar. There's a display grid and there's a gap. And the only difference was this grid template column, because for the playlist we have 5 column. One, okay, two, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, sorry, this is the album view. So playlist will like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But for the album and on our application, it's not Spotify. We just need 3 column. So actually, the index here is just saying the name, the alias, but usually you might not need to do it. So we just remove it for now. Then the first, I think, 6 and then the last one, we just keep like that. We're saying we wanted to have a grid, and the template of the column is gonna look like there's the first one is over 24 pixels, because it is gonna fit the order number nicely. For now, because this is sorry, it's not mine. It is still Spotify. That's how it's looking very nicely. So for now, I think it look very well for like 2 digits. But when you have like, I think, yeah, even 3 digits looks still okay. So I just keep 24 pixel for now for the first column. And then the second one, which is title, I just say the big one, as possible. 6 MB is so big, like if you see it. And then the last one, just to keep it, is a minimum of 120 pixel or like 1 MB if we have more space. So we have the album track grid now. Just bring it down into this, and probably we have something on the UI already. Just let me close it so we're not confusing anymore. So go into this territory thing. Okay, so there's title, there's the thing, and then there's a duration. Looks fine, but there's a additional padding. Oh, so maybe you don't need this padding now. Okay, so let me just remove it. So we don't need it. Okay. Maybe it needs to be outside. So content spacing. Oh, so media table header. Let's look at the playlist again then. So here they has a padding. Oh, okay. Okay. So the content spacing is only for the top one, and then the bottom one that knows content spacing, which is a bit weird. Actually, why I did that line? Why do I did this way then? Maybe we can change it a bit, but okay. So for now, I'll just put it back without the padding. So to make the thing align, and then in the playlist we might wanted to change it later, but I think I will not touch it for now. So as you can see clearly on the album, I put everything into this content spacing. Okay, I think it's clear for you. I put everything into this content spacing, and then if I put another padding, it needs to be outside. Otherwise, there's a double padding on the side. So that's how. Just now it look a bit more space on the left and on the right side. So now it's look better. And then what we need to do, we just need to start to put in the track. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna copy. I mean, technically you don't have to do copy, but then if I wanted to reuse the playlist track, which I can do technically, maybe we should extract it into a component and we just reuse it. So, or maybe not. So at the moment in the playlist track, in the playlist track component, I will just having this 5 thing. So first, second, third, fourth. Oh, it's just the fourth one, not okay. So no. So the first one is like this first, and then the second, and then there's a third, and then the fourth, and then the fifth one. And if I wanted to toggle to not display these 2 things, either I need to pass in some kind of maybe enum, like is it a playlist track or is it like album track, and then we can just reuse it component over, or I'll just create a new component based on that, and then we can reuse it. So actually not sure which way we should go, because if if we're using ng if inside, and we had just a few type of media, it is going to be okay when you have a very small set of conditions that you need to render. But when it is getting so big, so you usually want to have a different behavior and want to have also different UI for those. So I think I'll just copy it over. Oh, okay. So but wait, because interesting then. Because when I do the hovering thing, I also hide this, and then I show this track play button, which is that one. So maybe this we see when you hover on the row, the play button is replaces the order. So this logic we also need to copy over, and then if we need to maintain that, tricky then. Okay, so what I want to do is, for now, just for now, yeah. I gonna reuse it, and then I will introduce another, maybe a type into the component. So at the moment we are just taking a few data. So the first one is the, oh, there's a playtrack object. Hmm, interesting then. There's an index. Index here is fine. There's a context UI. So we need to see if the album track and the playlist track is the same. That is a problem, because if the data model is not the same, then it's gonna complain about it. So let's look into this for a quick thought. So let's look into this playlist track object. Oh, okay. So playlist track object, let's see. Added by, and then the is local, and then there's a track. If we look into the album track response, and inside it's just an object, and then there's a track object simplify. So it's not the track object full. Very tricky then. What to do then? Let me think. So because the two data model was not very similar. So if we wanted to reuse a few part of it, maybe it's not easy. But then the problem will be arise when you have when we have another component, when we introduce the ITs, when you click into this ITs, it is starting to display. Okay, the first thing is the track is going to be the same. We need to show the play button when you hover into the track itself, and then you will also, there's some behavior is the same, but the UI is going to be different. So now is a time for you to make a call, like which way we should follow. And I think it's interesting then. And it is, and then we also have maybe this postcard, and then there's more type of media. So all of that we wanted to keep. So the easiest is like we always have this track row, which is like crazy hacking. Okay, so we put this track row into globally, which means that as long as you have the class track row, which is that one. Okay, see the track row here. When the track row is get hovering, it will just toggling the below the behavior of the component. So let's go back to the playlist. See, so if I just remove it and then I bring this whole thing globally, and it's just gonna work, right? Because the CLS is gonna be global, and then you have this track order and then track play button, and all of that too is also like embedded inside the component itself, so you can toggle it. I'm not very sure if it's a good way to abstract it, but I think it should be reasonable for now. If you have any comment, feel free. I don't want to show the wrong stuff, but sometimes when I'm not like, okay, so let's put it that way. When you start to build something, you need to make it work first, and then you start to refactor it. And if the first time we do it is not the right way, and then okay, if we come up with a very like good solution at the first time, it is, I think it's just good. But if you like spend like half a day on it and still thinking which one is the good one, maybe you just go ahead with what you have in mind, and then make it work first, and then after it's work, you can just go back and change it a bit, and I think we will benefit from it. So instead of spending 4 hours to think about solution, a proper solution, maybe just go ahead with the code, and then I know, and then you can just come back to it, spend an hour to finish the code. When you look good on the UI, you start to question yourself, like how can I make it better? And then you have another 3 hours to make it better. So I mean, maybe it's not the right philosophy, but I'm following it. Okay, so we just keep it. I'll bring it up a bit. But actually now I think I also need to link it outside so that the other component can use. So yeah, technically it's just the same. Because if I don't have this view encapsulation none, it is just scope inside this component and it just cannot access to the other thing. Unless I say there's an ng div. But I'll just do this view encapsulation none. So okay, let's bring this on top. And we bring we make it look nice first. This is has to display something on the UI. And then we will come back and do some refactoring. By the way, I have a schedule refactoring with Joe, but it really depends on his availability. But we will probably will do it in the upcoming weeks or months, so that you can understand like when we start to write a code, and maybe it's not the best one. There's always room for improvement. And Matthew just say, you cannot avoid error coding live. Yeah, okay, that's true. Then, even when you show it to people, it's even even harder. When you write stuff by yourself, this is fine. You can just change here and there, do some crazy hack, and then just try. But when I show it to you guys, I can just not try too many stuff because your time is precious. And thanks for joining. Okay, I think I talked too much. Let's. So the track is, I think it's good now. We don't really need it anymore. So I will just introduce playtrack object. Tricky. So it's always a track object full. And track object full is just extended from the track object simplify with a bit of data. So it always has the album inside the track. But for the album, we only has the track whatever, the simple track. This track object simplify, so that's only itis and then something. Okay, I think I make up my mind. So we solve the problem of the behavior when you hovering the track. So now we just create a new component and we just copy the code over. Easier to maintain in the future, I would say so. Okay, so let's go to the album. So there's a detail, and then we just create a new folder for UI, and then just generate a new library. Just create an Angular library, and then you call it maybe album track. So bring it down. It will just run the dry run. So you will see what we're expecting in the lib here, which is the web album UI. Then just scrap the few things. Prefix is AS. Wait, because I shorthand for Angular 25. I want to do this simple module name. And then I think that's it. There's a strict away. I put it in. So the tag here is for linting, and I don't really enforce it at the moment, but I'll just put type UI. And scope now it's web, because in the future maybe there's a mobile, there's whatever, and there's API. So I just put this simple unit test runner. I just don't write any unit test, but I think it's good to put jest in, so that in the future you wanted to write some code for it, and just start to create a new file for testing, and then you're good to go. So if it's good for you, you can look into it. So there's UI, album track, and everything. Okay, look good. Just run it. Okay, so we have the album track component now. No, just the module. Okay, so we need to add a new component for it. This is sorry, just do it slower so that you can see it. Just now, sorry for too fast. Just do ng generate UI. It is like an extension for VS Code, and look for component. and you can see there's schematic and component. So you just put in the same. I do album track, and oh, that is bad. Sorry. Oh, okay. So we trigger that. So that's the name web album UI album track, which is good. Style is always that's my preference. The chain detection is always on push. Display block, maybe no, actually I need it. And just put flat and then export. So flat and export is like flat, you try to put the same tree file into the root. Like when you select into the lib, so it's going to be slash lib and then there's a track component already. Otherwise, want to create another folder called an album track, and then inside there's another file for the component. So I usually do the flat and then export. We have some questions, but let me just finish it first and then I'll answer it. To AS and then we skip test because I'm not gonna write test for it. Okay, I think we could just run. So why is running? Okay. There's a question from Chimong, and yeah, it is the repo in live. You can either maybe just easier to go to GitHub and then I'll send the link into the chat. It is public. Yep, I'll just send the link into the chat, and you can see there's a error Spotify, and then you can just see all of the code that I do. So I will create another branch and then I push it for today live stream, and you can all look into it later on. So this to do not for useful test whatever before cleanup and refactoring. It's not work before cleanup. Oh yeah, true then. If you feel like you are right sometimes and it's gonna be break anyway, so probably you don't want to do it. It's just waste a lot of time. I think test is more like a tool for us to really make sure that our code is very strong. But when you just have some very like foundation code you wanted to do just for while loop to make something work, then maybe at that time you might not want to write test yet. Or there's a TDD approach where you just know exactly what is the input, what's the output, and then you can write tests to expect all of the function you are writing is working properly. But for front end, usually you wanted to do more kind of like end-to-end testing because do the detailed testing of the component sometimes is not good. You wanted to have someone, I mean, that's like added, I mean, maybe there's a bot, click into the button on the UI and see if it's working, instead of just do a new instance of the component and then just invoke this. Because it's like when the class that is there, you instant it, you do new for component, and then you just invoke the function. It technically is going to be invoked. It just okay. Maybe you can test if the invoke with the correct argument, but you know sometimes you wanted to see the behavior on the UI more. I guess for front end, but for backend, yeah, I'm just not write test too much, so don't take my advice too serious. But that is what I take from the testing part. Thanks, Matthew, for the input. Okay, I think we can just finish the album track today, and we're out of time. So now we have this three file. Okay, so we have the module, we have the component, and we can just start to plug the thing in. So technically, in the import, I wanted to have the media table. Yeah, maybe I just need to break it down because like I see, I will import it and then I have the header and then I have the row, but most of the time it is two different, like separated. So maybe I just need to separate it out. Let's just take media table module and import it, see how it's painful it is. Table. Okay. Good. So just close it. So now we can start to just bring the thing into it. The thing that I'm mentioning is just playlist component. I just need to copy the code over. No, it's track. So I take in the item, and here I'll just set the album route URL. But for the album we don't need it, so I'll just skip it. And then there's a index. Oh, index is like the track number. Yeah, so index here is more like when I send Spotify to play a track inside a playlist, I will not send the ID of the track. I'll need to send the context UI, which probably is there's a playlist. There's a unique thing for the playlist, and then I just need to send the order of this track inside this playlist. So that's how that's why I need to put the index. I think the track number on the playlist is not reliable, so that's why I need to put the index inside. And the index is always need to be a number, because the index from the playlist is always the array index, so it just cannot be done at all. And because we are enable the strict mode, so if we don't do the exclamation mark, no, it's not, yeah, exclamation mark, it will just say you need to initialize it inside the constructor. But because it is something we set it from outside, I will just do this exclamation mark, and then it will just go through, no complaint. But don't do it too frequent, because at least you know what you are doing, and that's fine. So the e-track playing here is basically just check if the current track is playing by comparing it with the playback. The playback is where the current state of the player is. Like what is the current play track? Is it like you are configuring it in which volume, and are you like wanted to do repeat, do shuffle, all of that is inside this playback. And I just create this track playlist state, so that it is just like util function that you can just reusing. So inside the function I'll just check if I am playing a track. So if I'm playing something, it will not go to it. And if I'm playing something, I need to check if the current playing track is the same with the track that I am displaying on the UI. So if it's not the same, I'll just return false. And if it's equal, I just return if the current playback is playing. So that is the logic. And I always wanted to start with 4, because when I do get track playing, it's always start with 4 first. Otherwise, the UI is always display the play first, and then it's toggle back, which is not something we wanted. Okay, so I think we just take it over, and then okay, we just do side by side. And yeah, like I mentioned, I will just copy a code, because I think this example from playlist is good enough. So look for album dot track. Okay. So we have playlist track here. Okay, just do it on the side. Do row up text, and then okay, we're good. So okay, here I need to do album track, and it's too small now. Album. And in the unit, I'll just okay. The input here is technically what I wanted is to take the track, which is the Spotify. Okay, I know. I need to remove that part from the setup. I was like didn't know at the beginning. So because there's a type of an empty array, so to make it work for the Spotify, because Spotify is like an additional package for type from npm. So I just need to remove it, and then I restart the TS. Start TS, so and then it will recognize the Spotify API dot track. Hopefully, if not, then yeah, simple track. Track object simplify. I think that's the one. And because it's like you have to initialize it, so I just put a question mark for now. And then in the on init, okay, so I need this track playing. Of course, I need it. So is track playing. which is a observable of something, observable of boolean. Okay, it also need to be initialized, and then because I am waiting for the track input to compute the data to each track playing, so I need to do something in the on init, because only on init and you have the data from the input. So I mean, for now, I'll just assume when it init, that's the data for the track. So I just don't have to do the check if you, but if you're not unsure about your thing, then maybe you need to do it. So this e track so it is equal to selector until. So not sure that, like I mentioned, it just doesn't work. So I just copy it. I think doesn't work. First, it needs to be album. No, it's not. It needs to be a track. And then in track, need to take the ID from it. Pilots, we need to import. Off, we need to import. And direct store, we need to inject. Direct store. Okay, doesn't work then. You can see that's how frustrated is like working with VS Code without importing. So we just take it, and then we take the two things up here. But we don't need the router until for now. So we have this track playing. So basically, we know that the state of the track now. So now we need to see what is the thing. So we need to toggle track place, and then we need to get album route URL. Okay, that one we don't need. So probably we need to pass in the like album context URL. Yeah, I think we need the context URI. Let's see if they have it. But actually, just look back and let's look back into data. I think if they have it, then we. Okay, so let's into the album. There's some album that I really like. Okay, a million years of life for Cutter. So that's the album, and then inside you have this ID, but it's not like context UI. I will show you how it look like later on. Okay, here that's the UI. So that's the Spotify album, and then with the ID of the album. So you need this URI to toggle the track play. Okay, so I just pass it in. So I just call it context UI, and it is going to be a string, overview a string. Oh, sorry, yeah. And because like I mentioned, it's passing from outside, and then we're 100% sure that there's always the context URI. That's why I just don't do any step check. And then what do we need to do? We just copy this over. I think it's good for now, hopefully. So see, there's a to-do refactor with the component store, and then we will do it early. I promise, maybe in the next month. And then we need a player API. Okay, so player API is gonna be probably from API service. Okay, this one. Okay. Now I have this player API service. I'll just need to inject it into the constructor. Where's the constructor anyway? Yeah, is it API? Here, sorry. So just private player API and just do it. Doesn't do it automatically. Okay. So now it's fine, and then I'll just take from the track dot, because the order of the album is always very strict from the first to the bottom. So just take the track number. Is it? Okay, then I think it's good, but we need to see if this offset is taking like, because the track number is always from start with 1. But the offset here, maybe it start with 0, so maybe we need to do -1 for the track number. But let's see. Hopefully it's gonna work. And now it seems like we need all of that is fine. So the code for the component is technically, we just need to render the UI, and then you click a button, and it should toggle the track play. But if it's not, then we need to look. But okay, let's do playlist track component. So we need to copy this over, which is the whole thing. Okay, and I think now I know exactly what to do. So just open this one. We just remove everything. Okay, I think we need to import this media order and then media track like main info. The album we don't need. We don't need this item. This. Okay. The direction here we also need, and the direction here is just a pipe. I'll show you later on. So it's just converting from millisecond to minute and second. And the track here is okay. Track direction. Good. So we need this to read tree. We need to import the tree thing. So go to track module. So the first one we need is like okay to do it this way. Maybe the Spotify, and then order. Okay, that's the first one we need. Second one we need is what? Is the track info, and then the third one is the duration. From and Spotify, and main info, media info. No, not summary. How should it track main info? So it need to be track main info. And Spotify track main info. Okay, that's the second one. Okay. Okay, the last one was like duration, and then we need to do for Spotify define duration pipe. Okay, and then we had duration pipe module. So everything is like has their own module. So when you don't have anything, you need to import it respectively. So it is not like you need to just import one thing and then you have everything. So that's why I was promoting the single component per module, following the advice from my friend Joe. And I think it worked very well so far. I don't have to think about where should I put this thing. It's just reduce a lot. Okay, so now we have a good side here. In media order, I think I just do a +1 inside. So now it is something we need to do, but okay, let's just track dot. You see, now even it doesn't work. So it is very structured, like track number. See, now the language of it is completely broken. Track is track here is probably full, and then track here is just simple. Okay. Okay, just do as any. Doesn't work. Is it any like that? Okay. It's just a hack because I know that the track here is the simplify, but it's the track info. If we need the full object, see, there's a track in object full and then track object simplify. And the reason why it needs the object full is because I render the cover here. Can you see? So maybe I need to check if there's an album. I mean, that is not a good way to handle it, but okay. Let's just finish it first. Okay. If there's an album and then I display the image, if not, then I just leave it. Okay, good. I think that's it. Okay, that's a. We don't really need that, and if we have it now, should work. I expect. So now when we go back to the album detail, right? The module, album dot component, and we just need to render it below. Okay. So let's see. Okay, let's go back to the playlist. I think that's some kind of playlist track. Oh, it's not playlist track. The playlist component. There's a margin bottom, so that there's a space at the end. So just copy this. Okay. Okay, and then I just render it because because the track for the playlist, like I mentioned, it was taken from another API call. That's why I do need the async here. But in the album, I don't really need it, so I'll just do. I need to import it first into the album module. I need to import the. Um, to do it first now. There's so many times which was spending on this import and. Sorry, I'm not complaining, but it's just really makes time wasted a bit. So it is what album track, because I know that the album track is basically maybe just it will be used inside this module only. So that's why I just take this and put it inside the same UI structure. Yeah, there's the UI inside the album. So we just import it here. That's that's why I just don't put it into the share, because I think it's only applicable for module. And if we need it to bring it to the share, then we just do a simple move schematic from ngxs nx. Sorry. Oh, so you can just move it later on. All of the loading here we don't need. Just saying. And then okay, now we just do. Not sure if just do the AS. So try. We do F4 for S track of the. Okay, so I need to take this album as well. Can you see it? So I need to bring this out of this header because it's been rendered in all in one chunk. So I just need to bring it inside this container. The summary, there's a play button, and then the below is the header. That's why I said maybe we should bring this into a separated component. A component. But so track, okay. And then let's track. But track is not that, so I don't. Because the track here is like a pagination object, so inside there's an item property, which is actually an array that we need. So we need the album ID, it's context UI. Now this one is not working as expected, but okay, I think we'll continue. URI, it's not URL. And the track equal to track. Okay, look nice. Let's visit one more time. I think it's gonna work. Because I just confident with the code. So the track, then contact UI, and there's boolean, then inside we just has the order and then track info. So all of that because we prepared it before, so we don't really need to write a lot of code. It's just reusing the component. And if I look into this, okay. Oh, awesome! Doesn't work. So it's kind of work, but let's see. I think there's a problem somewhere. Okay, maybe I get it. So it's rendering, but it is not rendered in the correct thing that we want. Okay, it's because it's wrapping in the playlist track, which is not something we wanted. So let's open the track. I will track detail. Maybe. Info. Because we're wrapping into it. Okay, so it's not where we wanted to put it. We just wanted to do it album track for it. Be fine. And do any. Still doesn't work. Hmm. Let's let's see. There's a media table row. There's a album track grid, and then it's playing. So if it is playing, I'll just take the order. I'll just take the manifold. I'll just take the text description. Okay, look fine. It's just the. I think everything looks okay. It's just the UI was not rendering. Oh, okay, okay. NGI less is not. It's not something that they understand. Here. Oh, that is weird. You need to complain. So we just need to do it. The reason this was complaining because I was is not it is working a bit differently from async pi because the async pi when you do ng if and then async if the boolean is 4 then technically it just doesn't have anything and ngix let is just taking the data out from an observable and then you just passing it around so async pi sometimes it's just just not like what we needed all the time. That's why I need this reactive component module. Okay, now it's work somehow. Fine. So there's a reactive component module where it's coming from ngix, which bring out a few utilities function that we can use on the template. So doesn't work. Okay, if it's happened, I think we need to restart the server. It's happened to me before. It just somehow, yeah, this one. So album track module is not exported from album track. No chance. Just review it, and then we're good. So, okay. So why we are rebuilding? Just let me go to. I think that's one comment. I think that's one comment from. Um, let's see. Hua. Okay. Let's open the comment from Hua. Let me just zoom in a bit. That's why we're not commenting in the live stream. So, where is it? It's gone. So more. Hey. Okay, below. Okay. So Hua were asking like he was checking the project. Uh, Thanks for doing it. Really appreciate our time for spending looking into the project. So he asking why we need a lot of boilerplates in the source lib folder. And the reason why is basically NX when I was using the command to generate the library, it just do all of this boilerplate for me. So it is necessary for them to create a library. So it's not like I am the one who put all of it into the places. It is generated by NX. That is the first one. But why we need a single like we need a lot of library, and the reason why we need a lot of library because NX wanted to know exactly when you change a library, and it's how it's gonna affect the other thing. So imagine you have a library with 10 components, and then you change one of them and you put all 10 components inside a single library. It is like normal share module. So Angular it just doesn't like when you build like when you make change inside one component, you need to rebuild the 10 component because it's inside the same library. So you need to technically just need to rebuild the library again, and everywhere it's using this library, we need to review everything again, like everything like from this library. But if you think about where you have 10 different library for 10 different components, and when you need to use a few of them in one module, and then you make change in your library, only your library need to be changed. Like a button, you only need a button inside one component, and then suddenly you wanted to make change in this button. So if you make change in this button and then you put everything into the share module, the whole 10 other like the whole 9 other component Well, it just doesn't change. You also need to review. So yeah, put into perspective, it's just to know what is the affected code that had been changes, and then how NX can efficiently help you to detect what had been changed and what need to be reviewed. It is just the best practice that NX recommend to you. So I understand that there's a lot of boilerplate, but it is not something we need to write manually. So I think that's fine. We just need to use the NX COI that you understand correctly to generate it. And once it there, you got a lot of benefit from it. So I think that is my answer for it. I will put another comment and then I will link to the live stream today. But if you look into live stream on that day, I think there's someone also asked for it, and Joe was also mentioned about that. Okay, we mentioned it about like in 46 minutes. We're talking about why we do it, and we got the benefit from the affected command. So we got the benefit from it from doing a lot of boilerplate, and I hope you understand that. But if you feel like to put everything into the share module, that's fine, but just don't make it too big. Like you put all of the chart component and all of the button, everything the same. So don't do it. It's just my advice. I will put a comment later on, but I hope you get it. Okay, so now it's built successfully. Like I mentioned just now was the build error. So let's see if we had it running on the first time. Ooh, nice. So like I mentioned, I was expecting the index was just increasing by 1. That's why you see there's a start from 2. So if I click into it, I think it can play this song. Eh, doesn't work. See? Yes, if I play, when I pause it's fine, but when I play, you're gonna play the next song because I was sending the index, which is like expecting to start from 0. So let's do it. I think we need to change it inside the enable track module. So that is the track not module, and then let's see toggle track, and then maybe we just need to minus here instead of doing it inside. Depends. Here we just always do index +1. Okay, so maybe let me think. Yeah, maybe when we pass it in, we just +1 for him. So because it is actually the index that we wanted to display. So we just need to look for the track order. So here we just, so here we don't need to plus, but I think in the playlist we need to +1. That's the first thing. My track, so we need to +1 here. That is the first thing, and then when we send it to play, we wanted to reduce it by 1. So because it starts from 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, but then when we send the offset, we need to send from 0, 1, 2, 3. So just +1 and -1, it's going to be fine. See, now it is playing this song. Pause is fine because pause, I just issue a command called pause. It doesn't really care which song you wanted to pause. You just pause. But when you play, now it's work. Yes, it worked fine. So when you click play here, you want to play the first song. So I think it's like a flow, because if you just click into the nice song, right, and you click pause, play again, it's play from the beginning. So it's not play where we left, but so I think it's understandable for a demo app. And what else? I think that double click is not working. So when you double click, you can also play the song. So let's see where was it. Oh, I think I need to do a double click here, right? Somewhere I need to do. Let's see where I put it in the playlist track. Yeah, there's a double click somewhere, not inside here. That is weird. Do DB click DBL. So in the playlist component. Oh, okay. So when I do, okay, I guess playlist track and just go play track index. Oh, get it. I can do it inside though. Actually, I don't need the play track here. I don't need it. Because the pilot track is also responsible to playing a track. Okay. Or maybe play is only for play, and then I think that is the reason why I do it like that. So when you double click, then let me try again. I forgot. So you like double click it and double click it again. It should keep playing, so it's not pausing. Okay, I think I got the intentional. But just play. Okay then. I mean, we can do it as well like that. So, but the playlist track here is now is do also the toggle play track. So I think the code either need to be here or we need to bring this toggle play track one level upper. I think so. Depends. So I think for now I'll just call this toggle play track inside the component. Let's open the album again. Next one. Okay, so just do dbl click. dbl click, I think small. And just do toggle. And just need to copy it. Oh, wait. Oh, it's not toggle anymore. So toggle play track here is what do it. Oh, okay. I can reuse the same thing. Why not? So it's, I'll just say, when I say toggle, just always play. So I will say it is not always play. I think you get the idea, right? So the toggle play track is like it's taking a boolean called e playing. So if it is playing, it's just basically pause it, and if not, then it just play the request. So if I just send it over to phone, which means that when it go inside the e playing is 4, it's going to here, it's 4. We go here, it's 4, and then it's going to keep playing the thing. So we can reuse it. Maybe I can change the playlist as well. Okay, so let's try. Yes. So you just keep. So it's like just if I drag it out, I do it again, it will just start from beginning. So it's always playing the track. I mean, we can do toggle, but it will require a bit more work. Thing is okay. Yeah, it's fine. Look nice, though. I like it. But one thing is like because it's inside Dreamy, so the background is gonna be almost always the same because you know if you go to playlist, you play this, that's always the background is gonna be changed a bit when you depends on the coloring of the album. So this is gonna make it a bit red. This will make it a bit light. This will be a bit green because I'll just take the background and I'll just render it inside the canvas. So let's try with this album. Maybe this in today already work tomorrow. See, so it look the same. So when you inside of the album list, you don't really get the benefit from the different background, but yeah, I think it's fine as long as it's working. Yeah, first time, nice. Lisa. Oh, okay. So like when you click, right? Okay. What did it do? Oh, just now it just automatic select some of the element. See, like that. Somehow it's just automatic select. So if you don't want to do it, to have it, just do. Forgot, like I think I showed it last week, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, I show it later on. So that is the album is done, and we almost on top of the hour. So I think today we can just even I thought it's gonna be very quick to show you the album, but it still take more time than expected. But yeah, at least at the end it's working. First try, so we're happy. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else before we left? So I will do another stream maybe next week about the ITIS list and detail. Just ITIS detail, like when you click into the this one, it is gonna display the ITIS like Spotify. Yeah, there's a play away, there's a name remix, and then there's a top track play, and there's the list of album for that guy. So album here is probably easy, I think. They're grouping it, but we just don't really have to do it. So maybe we just below there's just a list of album for the guy, because I also think I don't have a lot of data for ATIS. So for ATIS, I has the let's look into the API together so that we prepare for next week. So look into the where's Spotify? Where's Spotify? Yeah. In the ITIS, I has the ITIS detail. That's the first one I have. I can get the top track, which is corresponding to this part, right? And I got the album, which is relating to this discography, which is just nice. We can over display it. And then I has the related ITIS. Okay, related ITIS is like this one, fan also like, which is also nice to have. So I think for ITIS, we need more than one live stream. Probably take another few hours. If I just write a code and it's quick, but I cannot just just write a code and not telling you anything. So yeah, so next week we come back with ITIS detail with this popular. Maybe it's gonna take some time like today, and then we will render this album. All of that is like we have all of the component ready, so technically we can just reuse it, but still we need to set up the data, the store. So I think we will need to break it down into 2 live stream, and with that, I'll see you next week. Have a really nice weekend. Before we left, there's a tiny one. You look so nice on YouTube about that. Thanks for joining. Also, Matthew, yeah, really appreciate your time today. It's like an hour and a half at the weekend, and you spend watching me talking. Really appreciate that. And for everyone, thanks for joining today, and I'll see you next week. I will commit the code into a branch later on. Maybe let me just check out the branch. And then I just call it album detail. Okay. Oh, it's already exists. Okay, nice. I will commit into this branch, and I will create a PI later on. So if you wanted to see the code today, just look into the pull request section. I mean, I show you before. It's going to be a bit confusing for you. So go to pull request, or you can see the close tab here. Go click close. There's a lot. I will trying to put the PR into it so that we can also refer to it later on. Like you wanted to see how to install the PWA app, you can go into it. There's a video I attached it. That's how it look when you install the app, and that's a video that I posted below. See, so you can always refer to the list of PR and see how it look. And yeah, appreciate that you spend the time today, and I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.